It is time for This Week in Location-Based Marketing, episode number 53. Today, we are recording it live between Asif and I on Sunday, November 27th. It's Grey Cup here in Canada. Look it up if you're in the States. Grey Cup, not Thanksgiving weekend. Grey Cup here in Canada. My name is Rob Woodbridge from Untether.tv, found at Untether.tv or at Rob Woodbridge. And with me, as always, Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Asif Khan from the Location-Based Marketing Association.
Of course, you can find that.
You can find me at thelbma.com or at thelbma on Twitter or at Asif Khan on Twitter. So there you go.
You can find them everywhere. And we were talking just before we went live. Toronto is the hot spot of Canada. We haven't seen a lick of snow, and it was 12 degrees Celsius in Ottawa today. This is the winter that I am enjoying. I don't know about you, Asif.
Yeah, but we know it's coming, Rob. We know we're going to get it. So, but yeah, at the moment it's crazy. I can't believe we have not seen a single drop of snow here. So
a lick of snow. We got hit, but now it's gone. And my kids actually did everything that they needed to do in the middle of winter. Right? Build a snowman, snow angels, shovel the walk. As far as I'm concerned, winter can be done. We've done it. Throw some snowballs. A busy week, Asif. Man, we couldn't keep up with what was going on this week. So you've had to distill it down to the top five, and we'll come to those with the top five. We're talking about Shopkick. We're talking about O2. We're talking about Macy's and Gap, and we're talking about a little bit of funding. We're also talking a little bit about our product of the week. We had a great interview today or a while ago with Pete Coleman from Point Inside. We'll be bringing that to you later on in the episode. I don't even know where to begin with this kind of stuff. So I'm going to start. And
we're not even going to talk much about Black Friday. So there you go.
Black Friday, or Cyber Monday. Whatever happens on Monday, we're not even going to talk about that. We'll come and recap that when the numbers start to come out. But I have to tell you that I'm going to postpone winter a little bit by heading off bright and early on Monday morning. By the time you're reading this, I'll probably be on a plane down to Florida, down to Miami to go to MEF Americas. They're having a massive conference and some great speakers down there. I'll be doing a panel, as well as I will be bringing a crew with me to do some live filming interviews down there. 12 or 14 of these interviews will be posted at some point in the near future as we've done editing. This is not the Skype. This is real live. I'm pretty excited about doing this. It's going to be great.
Yeah, well, should be a great event. I was looking at the lineup the other day, and it's they put together a phenomenal agenda. So, good on you. Have fun.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. Makes you wonder what I'm doing on that agenda, eh?
Yeah,
that's what you're thinking.
No, not at all.
No, that's what you're thinking. It's okay, Steve. I understand.
No. Hey, I'm proud of you, Rob.
I'm going somewhere. Plus, I get to postpone winter for 4 more days. So, if you are down there, if you're down in Miami, please come over and track us down.
The snow is going to hit on day 2 while you're down there.
That's right.
And then you're going to hear about it when you get back, about how your kids had to do all the shoveling.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's okay. They got to get used to it. They're Canadian. Yeah. They're hardy and robust children. Before we actually get into the news, why don't we talk? We got a great comment, and we have to bring this up. Igor on Twitter sent us a great comment about the podcast. Do you have it there handy by any chance?
Yeah, so Igor basically said, awesome podcast. Thanks for the unbiased reviews of LBM and tech products. Unlike the U.S. biased tech news websites, he put in brackets. So thanks, Igor. We really appreciate it, and we appreciate all the comments that we get from all of you, especially last week with our 1-year anniversary episode. So that keep them coming. And if you got suggestions, products that you think we should be covering, topics we should be covering, let us know.
It's always what we want. We love hearing from you guys. So let's dive into it. Our first story is Shopkick, and partnering with a company like Visa, I think is a significant thing. What do you think about this? Let's get into this story.
I like this move for Shopkick. Obviously partnering with a big behemoth like Visa, is a win for them. They've got some great merchants that are on board with this: Old Navy, Toys R Us, American Eagle Outfitters. And the interesting thing here is that this relationship. So if you're not familiar with Shopkick and you're listening to this, Shopkick is this ultrasound-based technology. They put hardware into physical stores. They've got deals with Target and Best Buy and Macy's and a bunch of others. And you have this mobile app that basically can triangulate your position inside of a store, and then they can get you to do things and earn points. But this new thing with Visa is really interesting because you don't actually have to be a physical retailer with their technology in-house. You just have to connect your Shopkick account to your Visa card, and you can be any retailer that's participating in the program and still earn the Shopkick loyalty points, kick bucks they call them, that you can then redeem for movie tickets or purchasing other merchandise through their partners, or even making charitable donations. So there's a lot you can do with this, and I think this is a great way for Shopkick to extend out of their physical footprint that they've got with the the retailers that have their technology into a much wider audience.
Does it kind of take away from what Shopkick is like? It's their reason for being, their value proposition. This is what they owned the property, right? So when you went into a Best Buy, they owned Best Buy. Nobody else was going to go. Best Buy made the effort to put the hardware in, to make sure that everything was set up. Doesn't this kind of devalue them, or does it extend their brand? Now I think that they're on even keel with now just geofencing folks, or even Starbucks.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think there's some risk here. From a Shopkick perspective, I think it's opening up to the wider array of retailers puts them in the same camp as Facebook and Foursquare and everybody else that's trying to tackle multiple different retailers, and it does it limits what the engagement opportunity that exists with the app itself, that where they started that interacts with this ultrasound technology. So I don't know, but at the end of the day, I think if you're Shopkick, you have to look at this and say, look, brands, advertisers, the folks that pay the bills, at the end of the day, care about reach and frequency, and we need to increase the reach. And we're not obviously getting enough retailers on board, or that want to install the physical equipment. So let's just get them any way we can. And the same goes to, we talked about Shopkick's deal with the CW television network, a few weeks back, and that's again about increasing reach. Let's get people while they're at home watching TV, and then have them push them into retailers. So I mean, if you're Target, if you're Best Buy, how do you react to this? You might look at it and say, well, wait a second, where's the exclusivity of having this technology? And maybe, I don't know what the deals were when Shopkick signed those deals, if there was any category exclusivity amongst retailers, for a period of time. I assume those things have since expired, and now they're going after anybody and everybody in any way that they can.
Well, I think it devalues it. It just a level playing field now. I think the bigger question would be: does Shopkick look at this and say, if this is how we have to expand our reach or extend our reach, is the whole hardware thing a failure? And that's what I'd be questioning right now, because if there's no business in there, and I never thought that there was, and I don't think you ever thought that there was. It was a neat technology to begin with, but it's advanced beyond this. Nobody wants to put hardware in anywhere now, and nobody wants to be locked in to a hardware platform. They want to extend it to everybody. So I wonder if this is just them admitting or testing the waters on other things, and they have a big enough brand now where Visa is interesting to them. I'm not sure I completely agree with that statement. I mean, I think there is value in the hardware system. I'm not sure, from the cost side of things, how that's played into it for them. Yeah. But, actually knowing where somebody is in a store, down to an aisle or they're standing in front of a certain product, there is value to that. And you can only do that, by tying into some of this indoor location type of technology, whether you're using Shopkick's technology, or you're doing it off Wi-Fi router triangulation, or you're doing it off Bluetooth or something. Indoor hardware is required in order to get to that level of granularity. So there's value. I just don't know whether there's enough value for Shopkick's customers. They should build what Amazon has in their warehouses, right? Which is everybody's tracked in their warehouses so that they can fulfill orders quickly. So that the person closest to the book that you just ordered gets buzzed and they pick it up. Maybe there's an opportunity for Shopkick there to kind of Amazonify everybody's warehouse. I don't know.
Right.
There's a free there you go. Piece of advice for Shopkick before they go out of business. Oh. Jump onto the second story. Shopkick's never coming on this podcast. Hey, we're never going to get them as a product. No. I think we just tossed out them as a sponsor as well. It's okay. Number 2, we speak our minds. Now I feel very conscious about what I say because of Igor's comment. Right now, I have to be the guy that is honest about my feelings about these companies.
We're unbiased.
Yeah, we are. I have no investment in all these companies. So number 2 is O2 jumping on ship O2 Media with House of Fraser. Walk me through this, because I was kind of ho-hum about this.
Yeah, so I think the important thing about this is it's not that it's House of Fraser, it's not that it's O2. We've talked about O2's Priority Moments program a couple of times on this show in the last year, and how effective it's been in terms of reach and getting to a wide audience through through the Placecast shop alerts type of system, the geofence SMS MMS model. What this deal is they basically designed a campaign for House of Fraser, which is a department store chain in the UK, and they've effectively combined a whole bunch of their programs together and tied them together. So Priority Moments, which is the campaign I just talked about, their Wi-Fi network service, and a bunch of other things. And so what they're basically saying is, and this is why I brought this story forward, is when we look at, from the LBMA's perspective, at the power of location-based marketing, the best way you can go about that is by combining mediums together, and looking for opportunities to integrate media around engaging people in whatever place that they're in. And so when somebody connects to a Wi-Fi network and you've got ads running on that network, in O2's world, that's been a separate thing. And somebody's on the O2 Priority Moments system through geofenced alerts, that's a separate network. And they're running ads on digital out-of-home billboards. That's a separate network.
Right.
And what they're saying is look, all of this stuff is coming together, like the LBMA tells them every day. It's all coming together, and let's test this out. And House of Fraser, has said, okay, let's do it. And so they basically mashed up the networks, and they've said, okay, the Wi-Fi campaign, you're going to run ads on there. The O2 Priority Moments, you're going to run ads on there, and all these things are going to cross-feed and integrate with each other, and one serves the other, and ultimately, the total share grows. So I think that's how I see the story.
Yeah, so it's not so much what they're doing. It's the fact that they're actually doing it, combining all these services. That's big here, right? Yeah, yeah. Because what they're doing is not anything new, but the fact that they're doing it together is the big story here.
Yeah, it's a multi-platform or multimedia buy. If you wanted to put it in ad terminology, right?
Exactly.
But
which
doing it
goes over my head, anyways.
But doing it across a bunch of disparate networks that O2 owns, right?
I think that's great. One of the questions I always have around this is when, O2 runs their Wi-Fi networks, right? And so I never understood this about Wi-Fi in a retail location. So you go into a big store and you get free Wi-Fi. The hurdles that you have to get through are often, cumbersome. You log on to your Wi-Fi. You got it on a device. You log on. You say you approve. Sometimes you have to give up an email address. Whatever it is. I never understood. Does this really keep people there? Does it keep people in the store? Do people actually use free Wi-Fi in those? Now, when I'm in the States and I'm traveling, I look for free Wi-Fi everywhere because of the ridiculous roaming charges. But I'm not their ideal customer. Do you know about that?
Do people use Wi-Fi in retail stores?
Yeah. Does it keep them in? Does it keep them in the retail stores? Like, what's the strategy behind Wi-Fi in retail?
Yeah, I think to some extent, there is some value opportunities there if you're going to deliver, high bandwidth content that's branded content, connected to a branded app. I think that's the thought process. Gotcha. The risk side of it is that I walk into that store and then I pull up, Amazon or something else, while I'm in that store using the free Wi-Fi from, Tesco to comparison shop or find a better price or do something else, and they're paying for my bandwidth. Okay, well, maybe that's not such a good thing. But in theory, it's really about how do we drive branded consumer shopper optimized experiences.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I've used free Wi-Fi at Starbucks like everybody on the planet has.
Yeah.
But I've never walked into a retail location and said, oh, but I suppose it makes sense if they want me to look at a long form or a short form video, and I don't want to blow through my cap on my data, right? So offering up like that, big risks. I think it's unproven still, if you ask me, but certainly it's everywhere, but it's not a selling feature. It's
prevalent though in retail than it is in quick serve restaurants or fast food chains and things like that. So. Yeah.
All right, that's O2 Media partnering with House of Fraser and the combination of all those services that O2 was running before into actually combining them all into something that of great value. So a continuous, continuous marketing experiment. I would consider that. If you want to know what a Steve called it, just rewind a little bit and you'll hear the proper advertising and marketing speak.
Right.
Third story. So augmented reality. I love augmented reality. I mean, I think that it's kind of it's gaining momentum. People aren't really sure what to do with it. I think this is a good example of something that's cool, but maybe not really, not quite there yet. This is Tesco working with Kishino augmented reality to allow you to see products. This is not mobile. This is from your PC, but allowing you to see products, interact with products.
Yeah. There's actually both. They're doing two campaigns at the moment, using the same Kishino app. So, by the way, for those who are in the augmented reality space world, Kishino is the new name. This company used to be called Total Immersion. So that might be the better known name if you follow augmented reality. So. Why don't you talk about the home experience, Rob, and then I'll talk about the mobile experience.
Yeah, sure. So the idea here is, to assuage or help people make buying decisions based on the product. So, allowing you to interact with the product. So what you end up doing is you're basically holding up a key or a note. You print it off, or it's from a catalog, and you put it in front of your cam on your PC, and it actually displays the product that you're looking for. So there's a great video on their website that shows a woman surprised that she's looking at a 47-inch television set that's actually balancing on a piece of paper, and she can spin it around and see what kind of ports are on the back, and it allows you to kind of have an experience with the product before you buy. And this is an interesting play. It's augmented reality at its simplest. And my comment, a lot of these things, we were talking about this before, was that if I wanted to see what ports were on it, I didn't have to spin an augmented reality application around or an apparition. What I could do is I could just look at the specs or the picture that is usually up on the website associated with that product. It's a good attempt, but I think it's just augmented reality for augmented reality's sake, and I don't know that it's going to push any kind of commerce, any additional commerce. But very cool nonetheless. I think we need to do these experiments.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think the utility of the in-home experience that you just described, is somewhat limited. Other than maybe visualizing how the product may look in the intended space that you want to place it, whether it's a TV or a couch or something else like that. I think there are some applications there that should be explored. But in store, I think there's some interesting things here too, and this is where the mobile piece comes into the mix. So. Using the same Kishino augmented reality app, Tesco's also experimenting where you basically, like every retailer, you have limited shelf space in terms of what you can display. And there's probably a lot more products that you'd like to have on the shelf or carry than what you actually physically have space to display. And so augmented reality could be an interesting way when I walk into a store, maybe there's only... room for displaying 10 TVs, maybe I actually carry 50. And maybe I actually have the others in inventory in the back and in storage. I just don't have display space. So if I can hold up my mobile Kishino app and actually hold that up to the TV display and see a bunch of others while I'm in the store. Yeah. Now I think you have interesting added value that's coming out of the tool like that, and then I can go and say to the salesperson, I want this one, or can you bring one of these out from the back so I can actually physically take a look at it. To me that makes sense. That's
pretty cool. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
And you can obviously any piece of equipment that you have in inventory, you don't have to display anymore. You just have to do it through augmented reality. Yeah, that's I can see that working a little bit better. Because of inventory or lack of space. And remember those days where it was Future Shop or Best Buy and they had the big wall of TVs? It was so impressive when you walk in. It was just like, from ground to ceiling of just TVs. I guess you don't need to do that anymore.
Right.
Yeah, well.
Exactly. So there you go.
How do you feel about this? Are you? I mean, the whole at-home experience is nifty, but kind of so what? But the in-store experience is a little bit more up the alley of kind of the experience that you should have with augmented.
Yeah, I mean that's certainly how I feel about it.
Yeah.
And again, I do see some value coming down the road about visualizing what things look like in my home. Yeah. Especially maybe furniture and things like that. Actually like holding up the thing and saying, okay, I'm thinking about this couch over here. And it's one thing to have those, those apps, or sorry, not apps, those websites that you can go to that, you can like upload a photo of your room and then you can change the wall colors and, play around with that, all that kind of stuff. It's another thing to actually, have three-dimensional visualizations of actual objects in your space. And I do see some value for that. I think it's early though.
Yeah, so do I. Let's start with something like haircuts, right? Like I got mine cut. I would like to see what I look like before I get a cut, right?
There you go.
That's simple.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm all for it.
How did I get this podcast? How did you end up with me, Asif? Good question. So the fourth story is a neat one. There's a lot of parallels here to a story we talked about during the New York City Marathon.
Yes.
The New York City Marathon app. This is the Macy's MyCityWay. Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade application. So it had very similar things. It was all directed towards one event, and it had some. It's a pretty immersive experience. Obviously, around that event, not just event scheduling, but a whole bunch of other things. This was along those lines. But I always think, God, you put so much effort into that one event, and then it's done, right? Till next year.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, but I think at the I was just on another podcast prior to jumping on this tonight, and we were talking about
you're cheating on me,
marketing tactics, and a little bit, but it doesn't happen that often. But we were talking about this idea of especially around holidays, whether it's Christmas or Thanksgiving, how much of the focus is on in terms of the creative that brands are doing is on building the brand versus pushing the deal and just getting the sale. And what I really like about this app, this MyCityWay app, which is all about tracking the parade route and knowing where certain floats are, from a location perspective and things like that, is that this is all about the brand. They're not selling products in here. They're not pushing deals necessarily to Macy's. There's a little bit of that in here, but this is all about, hey, Macy's is the title sponsor of this parade, and we're going to extend that experience. We're going to extend the watching experience for whether you're physically there or you're watching from home or whatever you're doing. It's all about optimizing the experience of the viewer of the parade. And there's they packed a lot of value into this app. So it's not just, from a location perspective, tracking, the parade route and where each float is at any given moment in time and all that kind of stuff. But they've taken their partners and pushed them in here as well. And so, along the parade route, wherever you are, they brought in nearby, restaurants and other stores and, where the subway stops were, so you could, find the transit stop, the weather forecast, all this stuff was fully integrated into the app. So you have this kind of one resource to kind of go to from that value. The second piece is in here, that was really interesting for me, again, going back to the theme of the O2 thing about bringing other mediums into the mix, is the integration with the television piece. So the broadcast of the parade was on NBC, and NBC said, okay, well, how can we tie into this app? And so they basically ran promotions in the app for content, like other television shows that run on NBC that were coming up, later in the year, and promoting those shows, and hopefully getting people to to watch them, all through this app during the Thanksgiving parade. Kind of interesting.
It really was. And what I like about it, just from a kind of a user or customer acquisition standpoint, is that they do this very subtly. When you get into the application, you have to register, give them an email address. So this is an event-driven mailing list bolstering application, which is pretty impressive. So who knows? They've done the great thing around circling the parade with kind of subtle sells, right? The weather and what's around and all those kind of things, and getting there. But the underlying thing is, what I love about this is customer acquisition. You have to sign up with an email address. There has to be some way of interacting, two-way interaction that follows from this. So who knows what that is? But a great lesson is that you can give away a lot of stuff, but there's always got to be a little bit of a hook. You've got to be able to collect something from someone in order to create some value, I think. And that's what these guys do.
And maybe to look at this a little bit different way, Rob, to your point is, another thing I talk about a lot is this, a lot of brands, put ton of focus on their Facebook pages, right? These pages, and how many people can we get to like us on Facebook? Whether you're, Best Buy or you're Victoria's Secret or you're whoever, you got all these people that like you. But, I always say, like, who cares? Like, whether you got 1 million people or 15 million that like you, are you making money from it? Can you monetize it? Can you optimize, and generate some value from all those people that like you? And this is almost like the reverse. They're saying, look, there's all these people who like us in the physical world of this parade that are watching this parade. And we can actually do something with those people. And we can engage those people, and we actually know who they are, and we know where they are at any given moment in time if they're using this app. I mean, it really does connect the dots. So I love it.
Yeah, so do I. And it's so funny because it's all that geared up for one event. And you say that to the guy who built the big Bart Simpson float, but it's the same thing. This is a massive event, huge viewership, just like the New York City Marathon or the Boston Marathon. These are monumental events. So it shouldn't surprise us that there's one single app. But I'd be very interested to know how many people downloaded that, how many people engaged, how many people provided an email address, because it could have been the lowest cost of customer acquisition ever. Right, because of building this application.
Who knows? I mean, I'm sure we'll see some numbers shortly. So,
all right. So that's Macy's with MyCityWay for tracking the Macy's Day Parade. That was last Thursday.
Yep.
Our last story, pretty cool. Gap. I don't know. I went on a tirade, I think, a couple of episodes ago around. Listen, if you really want to know what technology is coming or where you should be focusing if you're a small or medium-sized business, look at these big guys who are doing this. Look at how Starbucks has become a mobile company. They've integrated, they're first guys to do all this integration with payments and customer loyalty programs all on the mobile device. First ones to embrace Foursquare. Look at Gap. Here's another example of somebody that's trying these new things out. They partner with Roqbot to be able to choose music inside of the stores. And this is what I'm talking about. These are the companies that we should be looking at and they're leaders in the stuff that they're doing to engage with their in-store customers or consumers or buyers.
Yeah, no, I really like this, and so this is just a trial that they're running right now. The Gap, that is, in I think it's just a single location at the moment in San Francisco, but they plan on rolling this thing out. And so Roqbot, first of all, I love this company Roqbot, and they describe the thing as a social DJ application. So I like the terminology, and so effectively what this is the reinvention of the old jukebox. Except that it's applied to retail and other scenarios where you have dwell time and there's music. And so Roqbot's been doing this in barbershops and gyms and other businesses, doctors' offices and things like that for a while now. And so this is kind of their foray into big brand retailer. And I like it because the Gap's basically saying, look, we've got consumers in here who care about music. Sure, we can have the music running here, but why not let our customers decide, what's playing? And it's a standard jukebox type of model. Somebody picks a song, and then next guy picks a song, it goes into the queue, etc., and it just sits there. And maybe if you're really vested in it and you're like third in the queue, you're going to stick around longer because you're waiting for your song to come on, and maybe you're going to buy more. I don't know. It seems to make sense to me.
Who knows? But what it is it's as somebody said, it's kind of like the beginning of the social the socialization of retail, right? So how can we saw some examples a while ago about people taking pictures and broadcasting them up and large display boards. And this is another one of those things. It's personalization. Am I more apt to shop because I'm listening to Springsteen? Probably. Yeah. Who knows? It never happens, so I don't know. But now I can actually make it happen in this one gap. I'm going to head out there and see if I can do this. But I like the idea. I like the concept.
Well, it's cool, and it's iPhone and Android, the app, and it's fully integrated with Facebook, Twitter, Foursquare. Yeah. So it's all connected. You can share, you can vote on the songs that have already been picked by others, and it's cool.
Now I'm going to play the other side here for 1 second, because what I don't get is all that garbage. Right, so I understand the socialization, the social aspect of this, but when you start to do this kind of thing where you vote and you can, throw it up through Twitter and throw it up through Facebook, and you kind of get all that kind of stuff, it complicates this thing to no end. Now, I'm willing to, I think, and I'm not sure, and maybe somebody out there who's played with this can let us know, but I think I'm willing to kind of give it a go, like walk into a gap and try this out. But. Yeah. I think that's the end of my participation in that. It might be because I'm a little older, but the end of my participation is going to be, listen, I'm going to try to see if I can actually stump it, or we can get my music played inside of the store. But I'm not going to go through this whole social experiment about liking and.
So here's where I'm going to differ with you on that. So I think if you're in the demographic that typically goes to the Gap, that this kind of a service would appeal to. Yeah. The other aspect of this, which we didn't talk about, is in this same trial that's going on, there's 3 digital screens that this app is integrated to, and so if you actually check in and now you're sharing who you are. You basically pick an avatar, and then that's displayed on one of these screens in the store to say this song that's playing now was selected by so-and-so who's here in the store. So this is about recognition, of the individual, as much as it is about, the music that's being picked. And I think that, that's where we're getting to this world of, to my earlier points on the other stories, of integrating the media. Now we're talking about iPhone app, physical retail location, and digital screens, and all of this kind of stuff coming together. And I think, the more we see of that, the better, kind of the more integrated that it becomes, the more effective potentially it can be in real engagement, and not just this casual, I'm hiding behind my phone and nobody knows who picked this song, or whatever.
Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Now, I guess the missing answer here to this question or this riddle is, does it make money? Does it drive revenue? Does the average basket sale go up as a result of this kind of engagement? And I think that's what we're trying to figure out.
Yeah.
But I'll have you know that if you're ever in a Gap store...
We'll have to get Roqbot on to answer that, I think.
Well, let's do it. And if you're ever in a Gap store, and you hear Springsteen, I'm in that store. Because it's the only time that they would actually play it. So Gap is testing Roqbot. Now, if you want a little bit more information about Roqbot, go to Roqbot. That's your .com. That's their URL if you're interested in looking into that. So that's it. The 5 stories: Shopkick, Visa, O2 Media, and House of Fraser. We've got Tesco and Kishino, augmented reality. Macy's with MyCityWay, broadcasting the whereabouts of the Macy's Day Parade, the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Day Parade. And Gap testing Roqbot. Those are 5 stories. Now, there are probably 1,000 stories that we could have chosen for this week. It was just one of those crazy weeks, and those are the 5 relevant ones. As there's a theme here, as Asif has pointed out. And if you have any comments on those, let us know. You know how to reach us: asif@thelbmay.com or untether@gmail.com. Those are the emails to reach out to us. And let us know if you've been using any of these tools. If you were at the Macy's Day Parade, let us know. We're going to jump into the product of the week. I sat down earlier this week with Pete Coleman, who is from Point Inside, and here's what he had to say about what Point Inside is. It is time for the product of the week, and joining me from Seattle, that's right, isn't it, Pete?
That's right.
Is Pete Coleman, who's the VP of Business Development for a company called Point Inside. Really appreciate having on. It's a great distance, and certainly this weekend that this will air is very, very relevant for the business that you're in. Why don't you talk about what you guys are doing at Point Inside?
Excellent. Hey, well, Rob, thank you for having me. So Point Inside is a company that's passionately focused on making the shopping experience better for both customers and the retailers that sell to those customers in a wide variety of instances.
So you're engaged, like you're right in the malls. You are indoor, location-based. You're driving people to stores, right? You're driving consumers into retail locations to drive revenue in their pockets, aren't you?
Exactly. So Point Inside really works with retail partners in both the travel business as well as the retail shopping business to help them communicate and engage with their customers in real time on their smartphones to do, like you said, drive them into the store and help them make purchases at the retailers that we partnered with.
Like, is this like it's not GPS, is it?
No. As you know, in the LBMA, that once you go inside a building, you kind of lose the benefits of GPS. So we take a lot of proprietary technologies that we've built over the last 3 years we've been in business to enable location-based marketing to occur inside a venue, whether that's a shopping mall, an airport, or a big box retailer.
So, I mean, some of the benefits that consumers or retailers are experiencing from you. I mean, obviously, it's how does this work? It's an SMS, or is it an app that they download? How does this all come together?
So, Point Inside really foundationally is a platform that supports the presentation of engagements to shoppers and a variety of different apps. We have our own proprietary Point Inside app that we have users all across the world that use to navigate their way in shopping malls and airports and other venues such as theme parks and other national parks. And then we also partner with retailers within their apps as well as travel services partners to promote their ability to help their customers navigate indoors as well as get access to unique offers and engagements that make their experience working with those travel partners and retailers more beneficial to both the retailer and the customer.
So your customers are ultimately the malls or the retailers themselves?
So Rob, our customers are all types of retailers and travel services partners as well as end users, and they can get the benefits of our technology through a variety of different mobile applications. So again, we're connecting retailers and our travel partners with their customers on the customer smartphones and enabling communication to occur to enhance the shopping experience.
I guess the whole goal, though, has got to be, you're carrying these devices in your pocket. Every one of us is now, you guys are filling that hole that is getting them from within proximity to a store or in an airport into a retail location. That's the whole reason that you guys exist.
Exactly. So you've got a smartphone, as you know, is never more than 3 feet away from its owner. It's opened up over
3 feet. It's more like 3 inches. Like it's attached, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's opened up over 40, 50 times a day. In your case, over 100 times a day, and it's with you wherever you go. So that includes through the whole path to purchase, at home, near store, and in store. And what's really exciting about what we're doing is we're enabling venue owners, bricks and mortar retailers, to take advantage of these new and unique mobile technologies to communicate with their customers, regardless of where they are, to again improve their shopping experience.
And so you have your own standalone applications. You also integrate with other people's apps at the same time?
Correct. Exactly. So it's exciting to be able to work in partnership with major multi-billion-dollar retailers to leverage their existing app, but then bring the power of our engagement engine and Interact platform to their app so that they can still maintain that relationship with their customer and provide a unique and valuable mobile experience underneath their banner, but leverage all the technology that we've been working on for 3 years to make that a most valuable interaction. The other thing that's really exciting for retailers is the results of this partnering with Point Inside are very measurable, and that's important. It's a new channel for them to exploit and take advantage of and leverage, and the results that we enable them to achieve in partnership are very measurable and kind of fall into 4 key buckets. You've got improved customer service, increased basket size and share of wallet. As you know, retail is a very competitive industry. And then we also help to enable a new line of revenue in the form of advertising on the mobile channel in ways that no other channel can leverage. And then finally, one of the really exciting things we've learned since, again, we've been in business for over 3 years now, is the data that we're collecting adds a very nice dimension to any sort of marketing campaign that a retailer or partner wants to engage in. So it's really exciting. We're getting a lot of interest from a lot of the major, I'd say, top 100 retailers to enhance their mobile presence and deliver a very valuable, engaging experience for their customers.
Got to leave with one question, though, Pete, which is
okay.
how big? Like, how? I don't even think big is the right word here, but how important is the mobile space when it comes to commerce and driving revenue growth for some of these companies?
It's amazing. I think from a purely quantitative perspective, it's all up and to the right. I mean, every time you pick up a new survey that's sponsored by Google or Yahoo or whoever, it's every 2 weeks a new one comes out, and it's again up and to the right of where it was the last version. And that just means that shoppers are really racing to their smartphones to help them make a better decision, get a better deal, and since this technology really is present with them in the store, they can be very effective and efficient in getting their shopping done and still taking advantage of all those benefits. So it's very quantitatively valuable. But then I think from a qualitative perspective, what's really exciting, I think, is the convergence of .com and bricks and mortar is really happens in a smartphone. And I think it's a great opportunity. And again, we get really excited when we work with some of these major retailers who are very concerned about the threats that are present in technology and .com businesses to really empower their bricks and mortar experience through the use of the very same technologies to make sure that their customers get the world's leading experience in their industry. And we're really proud to play a part in that. And I think the exciting part, again, is that these retailers do understand that, and they're really excited to work with us and others in the location-based marketing world to enhance the shopping experience for their customers.
Yeah, I mean, it's the perfect convergence, right? Portable computing power in your pocket, location, and an ability to drive a message to bring somebody in the door. It's so powerful.
Exactly. I mean, from helping them prepare their shopping list while they're at home, sharing that list amongst others in their household, and then near store, giving them an incentive to come into the store right now to make their purchase, and then while in store, leveraging all the power that our platform brings to bear in indoor location, wayfinding, shopping list optimization, and routing, along with taking those 7,000 deals that are available that day in the form of price drops, coupons, daily deals, and bringing it down to the 7 to 10 that are really most relevant to that customer on that path around the store is really being met with a lot of praise from the shopper community, as well as a lot of dollars and cents to the retail partners that are deploying our technology.
I love it. Well, Pete, thank you so much for doing this. The product of the week, obviously, is Point Inside. Go to pointinside.com. We've been speaking with Pete Coleman, who's the VP of Business Development for the company, based out of Seattle. Thanks for doing this. Really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you very much. Have a great holiday season, and you caught us in the busiest time of year right now. And,
that's right. Yeah. I can't believe you're not running around with your hair on fire right now.
It's exciting times.
Thanks, Pete.
For you, Rob.
Thank you.
All right.
And that was it. That was Pete Coleman talking about his company, Point Inside. If you want any information about them, obviously we just plastered the URL everywhere. It's pointinside.com. I like these guys. I can't help it.
Yeah, great indoor location technologies. They've been doing some interesting stuff with companies like Mayor and others. Check them out for sure.
At the forefront of that kind of stuff. So pointinside.com. Thanks for Pete for coming on. Really appreciate it. If you have an idea for a product of the week, if you'd like to come on and showcase your product, reach out. You know the email address. It's asif@thelbma.com or untether@gmail.com. All right, so we jump right into the funding story.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So we went from Roqbot, and now we're going to talk about Gogobot.
Gogobot.
It's the bot story. It's like Transformers or something.
I love these names.
Yeah.
All right, what is Gogobot, and why do they need $18.5 million?
So these guys are a travel search site, and yeah, $18.5 million. iPhone app recently launched. This is a company that I see as a competitor to the new and improved Gowalla, who's apparently focused exclusively on the travel segment of the market. Yeah, so this is all about people sharing their travel experiences, tagging them, checking in, bookmarking, so to speak, where they've been and the unique things about, those places. And also the social aspects of, recommendations and, getting tips from people you trust and know, as in your close circle of friends.
So they raised $18.5 million. Obviously, it's product expansion and awareness making. I'd never heard of Gogobot. But this $18.5 million now almost doubles the amount of money that Gowalla has raised. So I don't want to say it, but I'm actually going to say it by silence. Shall we move on to the next story?
Sure. Just one interesting thing about that before we move on. So I was looking at who the funders are on this. So they got some pretty big names like Redpoint and Battery Ventures and people like that. But one of the interesting things is one of the angels in this is Keith Raboy from Square. So could there be some interesting synergies going on down the road between Square and these guys? Who knows?
Very interesting. Very interesting. Well, you can check them out at gogobot.com. It's not to be confused with roqbot.com. Gogobot.com. Second story. This is an interesting one. eBay playing catch up, I think. Or admitting that their internal project that does the same thing is not as effective as a company called Hunch because they bought them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw numbers on this, Rob, but I saw Michael Arrington on his site put up a number about 80 million.
Yeah, that's what I've heard
for this. So if it is, I mean, that's a pretty significant number. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a guy. I'm not well versed in the internal product of eBay from this perspective. But what I can tell you is that Hunch is a pretty solid product. So this is a standard kind of decision tree type of system. So ask a question, get an answer kind of engine. And I don't know how else to describe it. Maybe.
It's like, I mean, it's a, yeah, I've got a great way. I found this on Forbes where they describe what Hunch is, and I'm going to, as I come through here, but basically it's if you think about a recommendation engine like Amazon's recommendation engine, there's a long tail of product in eBay, and what they're trying to really do is draw attention to the long tail to bring obscure products that are related to one that you might be interested in up to the forefront. So this is a little bit of, it's obviously data mining, it's obviously about preferences, user preferences and purchasing preferences and habits, but it's also about kind of speculating what it is that you might be interested in. And I mean, this is, reason I say catch up is because this is what Amazon's, business is built on, this kind of technology that Hunch has got. And
understanding your likes, your dislikes, and really, kind of bringing to the forefront things that should be interesting to you based on all that data. They do. When I was reading through it, they describe it as Hunch is kind of focused on the taste graph. Is the term I saw thrown out there, and I hate it because I hate that everything has to be a graph now, right? The social graph, what was the other one that we had from not knowledge graph. You know what I mean? But everything's a graph now. The place graph, the product graph, and the taste graph now. So
I like the money graph.
Yeah.
Right? That goes like this.
Yeah.
That's how you like the money graph.
Yeah.
Well, they said that Hunch has an ability to generate meaningful yet often non-obvious recommendations for items available on eBay based on their specific taste. So there's your taste graph.
There you go.
And this is it's going to remain a standalone company, which is an interesting play. But they're going to integrate it into the existing tool set that they've got inside of eBay. And I like this. eBay's been on an acquisition spree.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of questions out there about, okay, so now that you've got all these parts, can you make them work together? And that's always the challenge with acquisitions. And certainly eBay has had to reshape their business, and this is part of it. This has to be part of what eBay does in order to do this, and in order to succeed and continue to be relevant. So who knows what happens here? But for 80 mil, yeah, everybody's got a price.
Sure.
Mine's not nearly that high,
except for Groupon, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. Let's not talk about Groupon. Come on. And I noticed that you've been tweeting out the fact that Groupon's stock has now actually fallen below their initial IPO offering. So this is the beginning of the end for Groupon. Another beginning of another end for Groupon. Yes. Yeah. All right, so eBay acquires Hunch, and I think that this is an interesting play. I like Hunch. I like the way that they do things. I like, for what it's worth, I think eBay and the acquisitions that they've been doing have been the right ones. The companies that they're bringing in and the talent they're bringing in is unbelievable. Now, can they make it work? Can they make it gel?
Yeah, they've done some really solid companies recently. I mean, the Milo stuff is fantastic. The Ware acquisition.
Laser before that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they put it all together now. So
eBay's they're certainly since 2008, 2009 making this is a big bet, big play. And I like the fact that they're not too stubborn to look outside of their organization and bringing it inside. I like that idea. Fresh minds. So that's it. Gogobot closes $18.5 million, and eBay acquires Hunch. What a great name, too, Hunch. Man, everything about that, I like it. And that's it. So let's jump into the resource.
The resource. So the resource is another research paper or research study from a group called IE Market Research, or IEMR is what they go by. They're actually a Canadian company. I never heard of these guys, but they're a Canadian market intelligence group, and so they've got a thing called Global GPS Navigation and Location-Based Services Market Forecast, and this looks out to 2016, and it's interesting. I think the most interesting thing about it is the stat here. They said that by 2016, this space is going to be $15.2 billion. But it's the compound annual growth rate that got me. So 22.7%. Pretty big numbers. I don't know. It's big numbers, but you have a thought on this.
I do. I mean, if you've ever listened to one episode of this, you talk about analysts and the back of my neck, the hair on the back of my neck starts to stand up on end. I get all bristly. I squint a lot. I get angry because these guys are always predicting 5 years out. And I keep coming back to it. Not one of these guys ever saw what we're going through right now happening. Right? They're always very reactive. And I know it's part of the analyst world to make bold predictions, but they didn't see this coming. So who knows what's going to happen in the next 5 years that's going to shift this. And I don't know why people just don't stop looking out 5 years from now.
Yeah.
There's these hockey pools and baseball pools out there where you bet on a game. And you don't really bet, but you say, listen, I'm going to pick a winner. I'm going to pick a winner tomorrow for a game tomorrow. And if that team doesn't win, I have to start over again. And with trust and building up points and all that kind of things. I challenge any analyst out there to come up with a prediction for tomorrow and make it right. And then I'll start believing it. But I'll do it on a day-to-day basis because this kind of stuff, we all know that the GPS market, I don't even know how to describe what the GPS navigation market, how do you quantify that? Because the GPS is in every device now.
What's not included in that?
What's that?
Yeah, like what's included in that market, right?
Because I could say, you know what, the location market, Asif, is going to be $100 billion market by 2015.
Sure.
And I can make it that, right? And so when you start to put all this garbage together like this, and you say, listen, and you come out with a number like this, it just loses meaning, it loses value. So come up with one thing right, and I'll start believing you. But you have to earn my trust. And that's for all analysts everywhere. Stop predicting 5 years out because you
Right.
don't know what's going to happen. Right? 2012, the whole world could be over, right? February 2012? Then how are you going to explain yourself?
Hey.
So, good on it. I love the fact that they're Canadian, but just stop the bullshit. That's what I got to say. That's it. My analyst rant. Over.
Done.
How's that, Igor? You like that?
Another episode done.
Exactly. Let's end it there. Well, I mean, it was a busy week. We covered most of it. I believe that this coming the stories that are going to be rolling out of Thanksgiving and Black Friday and Cyber Monday are going to dominate this week's returns. I heard that there was some great deals floating around, but I also heard that it wasn't as busy. We've been hearing reports that it wasn't as busy as anticipated, and
Right.
It's probably because most Canadians stayed up in Canada because they were, which is odd to me. We were doing Black Friday deals as well. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, no, it was a surprise to me, but everyone was doing them.
Yeah.
Everyone was
Canadians,
doing
and
them.
it's not even our Thanksgiving.
I have to say, I actually took advantage of one of those deals. I won't say it here because I actually bought a gift for
Nice.
Christmas for one of my my children, and it was significant discount off of the normal pricing.
Well, we see it everywhere, but it's so funny. As a Canadian, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving the same day as the Americans do. So, I mean, this whole Black Friday thing is insane to me that we are participating in this. But I think it's a defensive measure, obviously, to keep Canadians shopping in Canada. But that's a whole other topic around, we should do a podcast on that.
Yeah.
So that's it. Episode number 53 done. We're into our second year. We really appreciate the fact that you guys have participated as often as you can in listening or watching these things and contributing your thoughts and your ideas to us. We really, really do appreciate it. We're on a march to 100. Now we've got 47 more episodes to get to 100, and we hope that you actually stick around with us throughout those 47 and start offering us some suggestions. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, no, really appreciate it, and keep the comments coming, and thanks to Igor.
Yeah, exactly. Igor!
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you next week. I will give a full rundown of...
You'll appreciate this, Rob. You'll appreciate this. So the cupcake last week, which actually was a McDonald's Oreo chocolate muffin.
Nice.
Okay? Somebody saw it on the show and actually recognized it and said, "That's a McDonald's whatever it's going to be." Right? So I appreciate that.
It's the literal web.
People key in on the key messages of this podcast, which is what we're eating.
Exactly. And I had no comments about the sad, sad, sad nature of the Happy Birthday song, but I thought that was it was fun. It was fun to do anyways. We'll continue down this kind of path. Maybe our second anniversary will have a budget.
Right.
So we will see you next week. I'll give a full rundown of how MEF Americas was. Lots of content around commerce and transactions and location. Driving tonnage or deeper engagement is the theme there. I can't wait to be a part of it, and we'll give a rundown of that, and we'll talk about what happened on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. I assume that's what we're going to be talking about next week. Probably a good idea. Until then, which will be episode number 54 next week. We'll see you then. Asif, thanks for doing this, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Rob. Always a pleasure. Cheers.